So how can we shoehorn in a cold opener about divination? Read my mind.
Your devotion to that ancient religion has not given you clairvoyance enough to foresee a way of doing a cold opener. Star Wars classic.
No, it really hasn't. This week, we're going to talk about divination. What it is, learning it. Can you learn it, or are you just born like it, like good at it?
Well, from the stuff that I've read, mostly that you've written.
I did write it.
I think you learn the techniques, don't you? It's just a case of listening to different bits of your body and your brain that probably have always been there that you've just kind of not really paid attention to.
Sure.
That's it. That's our show.
So should we talk about what it is?
Yeah, okay, fine.
So, divination, back in the day, was an individual's way of communicating with the divine, whatever that was, whatever deity or several deities were called upon. That individual would be communing with the divine to get hidden knowledge about stuff and things that were happening to us here on earth. And so the idea that divination is, I don't know, spooky or evil or whatever, I'm not sure when that started to get bolted on there. Sorry, my computer wants to do things. So I'm not sure when that got bolted on there. But I do think sometimes there is this whole, ooh, you use tarot cards, ooh, that's scary, or woo, or weird, in order to reveal this kind of hidden knowledge, basically. And certainly back in the day, it was decreed by leaders of certain world religions that divination, not great. You don't get to commune with the divine. So can you stop doing that now? And these are the people that we've picked over here, these other white men that look like us. These are the people that get to commune with the divine. So if you're doing it, then you're doing something evil and you're clearly not talking to the deity of choice. You're talking to the evil version.
Right.
So that's why not cool when you do it, cool when we do it.
They've got fancy robes, so it's fine. You're just a person. Clearly you're talking to Satan.
Clearly Satan's taken that call on the message board that day.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Can't fault their logic.
It was very logicalous. Yes, absolutely. In terms of how to acquire this hidden knowledge, then, what are your thoughts? You see me using various tools.
I do, and I see pop culture using various tools. Also, I feel like divination has been slightly co-opted by people with sticks looking for water.
Sure, like, that's fine.
We're divining for water. Like, okay, that's not what we're talking about right now.
We're offending all of the dowsing community that listen to this.
See, they've got another word for it. They don't need divination. Dowsers. Yeah, well, pop culture, I think, mainly focuses on things like that you can see, like because obviously mostly a visual medium.
That's right. It needs to be the visual
tarot
side,
cards or crystal ball, that sort of thing, or clairvoyance, I will divine your future and tell you either something really specific or something massively vague. That seems to be the pop culture approach to it. It's like, this is going to be right on the money for you exactly to the letter, or it's going to be a catch-all that could be applied to anything.
Like, that's part of the narrative construct, though, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. But that's kind of how it's portrayed. And I think, we've talked before about tarot and things like that. How you can use that. Still working on getting corporate tarot, making that thing.
I'm working on it. I thought I could make a course. I could make a course for leaders to go on.
Learning tarot for...
Yes.
Okay.
So it's on my list, yeah.
But using that to kind of help guide you, answer questions, that sort of thing. Not give you the answer, but point you towards the answer, to help you recognise the answer when it comes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the kind of the things I've seen mostly, like the different types of cards, tarot, Lenormand, that sort of thing. Less with the crystal ball. I know from things like Charmed that there's scrying.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of like just studying like a mirror or something, and trying to work stuff out? And then they do things with a pendulum, which I think, again, narrative constructs, it should mostly be a yes or no type thing, and yet they seem to be able to do it to find specific locations where things are.
Yes, great, isn't it? Yeah.
It always happens to be in the middle. But even things like Supernatural do stuff like that, don't they? And they kind of they divine a location by burning a map, and the bit that's left is where they are. Again, it's the bit in the middle because it's all come in from the outside. That was handy, wasn't
it? You don't sound like you're a believer in the old pendulum divining.
No, that's not fair. I'm saying that there's the way it's supposed to be used, and then the way it is co-opted by pop culture to be used as a narrative device to do more than it should be. So, pendulum, yes or no, ask a question, watch the swing, where's it ending up, that sort of thing. Not, here is a map of the Upper Bay Area or whatever. Swing. Oh, it's over there in that corner, that specific warehouse.
Yeah,
that's helpful.
I mean, it's great if it could be that specific. Now, I think I only tried divining a location of a lost item using a pendulum once, and it was right, and it was a bit like Charmed. I'd drawn this map of my house on like an A4 sheet because I couldn't find my keys, so I was drawn the house and did the hall and the living room and the bedroom and stuff, and got the pendulum out, and I was calm the mind, where are my keys? And the keys were in the hall, and I thought, but they're not, because the hall was smaller than this room. It's literally you'd come like Alice in Wonderland through the front door, you'd have to crawl through a shoebox and then come out into the house. It's it's not in the hall because I've been there. And then I looked and I thought, do you know what, I didn't look in my pocket of my coat that is in the hall technically, and there they were. Just as an aside,
it seems to be that when you lose things, your pocket is the location.
Pretty much. But it's a bit like Mary Poppins' pocket. It's, you look in there, it's not there. You go back 10 minutes later, and it bloody is. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. So pendulum swinging. The yes/no device.
I guess that's work on the basis that you're swinging left to right. I suppose when you were scrying, divining, I was swinging it round in a circle.
Yeah, and it's where does my arm want to drop the crystal, as they phrase it in Charmed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That makes more sense rather than just.
Yeah, but it was, to be clear, an A4 sheet. It wasn't the map of the Bay Area, which, you get these old paper maps, back in the olden days before just there was the internet.
We need a bigger table.
You open it all out and then... I don't know how to fold it back was always the problem. Yeah. But it's a small sheet of paper, much like a pendulum board would be, this very contained surface area for you to work on, not my arm doesn't stretch out that far. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm aware of those kind of things, and I've heard of the different Claires.
Claire's, yeah. So there's Claire Jones, Claire Brown, no.
Clairvoyance.
Yes.
She's northern.
Yes. Clairvoyance, clairaudience.
Is that the hearing one?
The hearing one.
Listening to your inner voice.
Yeah. Clairsentience.
Okay.
That's the feeling one.
Right.
Claircognizance.
Okay.
And there is another one.
Is there? I thought there were only 4.
Oh, maybe there are only 4, yeah.
So if you did these online...
Did what online, sorry?
The different types of divination, the different types of clairs. If you did them online, would they be e-clairs?
For God's sake.
Can you just pause so you can overlay the music from CSI in Miami after that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got the rights to that. There won't be an issue.
See you later, everybody. I'm done.
Sure. There's 4 major clairs.
I'm just really proud of myself.
I'm trying to move the audience away from your awful dad joke. So, major clairs.
4 major clairs. Now who's doing it?
Not even with the correct hand.
So, clairvoyance.
Yes.
So that's the one that is that when you're looking, seeing,
Yes.
trying to find, looking to the. It's generally seen to be looking to the future, or trying to. They made the Star Wars joke in the cold opener.
Yes.
About giving you clairvoyance enough to find those stolen plans.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a form of scrying with your brain.
I guess it is, yeah. Scrying with your brain. Clairvoyance means clear seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what you're doing is that you might get an image in your mind's eye. So for people who don't visualize very well, you're probably not going to be able to develop this particular ability particularly easily.
Yep.
Let's just leave it at that. But if you are good at visualizing, this is something that can be developed. And basically, it's not always about looking into the future, although I can understand where that perception would come from. Again, narrative constructs from things like Charmed, where the character Phoebe, so original Charmed, the character Phoebe this is her gift. She gets to see things in her mind about the future. So that is probably used quite a lot because it's great for setting up the story and blah, 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 where this is a device. But it can certainly be used to reflect on the past. And that is harder to determine in your own head. Have I seen something that's in the past, or am I just remembering?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with clairvoyance, the difference between am I causing a thing to come into my mind, it's different. I can't describe it very well, but it almost just hits, and it's from nowhere, and there's no context to the picture that you'll get in your head. It's not like 1 minute you're thinking about cheeseburgers, and then you might get an image of a cheeseburger in your head. You could be doing something completely mundane, ordinary, like being in a meeting, and then all of a sudden you'll get an image of somebody eating a cheeseburger in your mind, and you'll be like, well, I don't have any context to this picture. And it's that can be developed, that clear seeing of something.
Okay. Going back to when you lost your keys,
Yes.
is it also kind of like a way of doing that, looking for stuff, so you can clear your mind, try and think and let the picture of where, because you've put them there, so this is a form of remembering. So you've put them wherever they are, but it's a case of clearing your mind and just letting it come to you where they actually are.
Yeah. I mean, all divination can be that.
Okay.
And certainly You can use a tool like tarot cards, you can use a mirror to scry, you can use a crystal ball. But yeah, you can absolutely just quiet the mind and just wait for the picture. Yeah.
I like the idea of using tarot cards to find your keys. Where are my keys? Where you left them.
To be clear, all right, maybe not tarot cards, but certainly Lenormand cards.
Yeah, we deal specific.
Can be used to find lost things, and have been many times by me. Like, where are my things? Oh, they've been stolen by the teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need Lenormand cards to tell you that's the answer 9 times out of 10. Where is this thing I left in an open space? Oh, they've got it. Them. The teenagers.
The teenagers. Yeah. Like
all right, cool. So
clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the other clairs?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So clairaudience, that's the hearing one.
Yeah.
And is that where sometimes, now not to confuse this with sort of maybe mental health issues.
We can talk about that if you want.
But when you hear a voice or something, like, you know, if you're asleep or you're in you're dreaming or whatever, and then there's a voice kind of cuts through, there's a clearer sound.
Yeah.
Or you hear the doorbell and the doorbell hasn't actually rung, but it's like it's trying to get your attention for some reason, something like that.
Are these examples based on real events?
Possibly.
Yes, that's the audience. It's not, I don't know, it's never a scary voice. It's never trying to tell you to do something that you know in this mundane world would be wrong. It's usually something that's a short message that, like you say, it could be just the sound of a bell. Music, I get a lot of music coming through, and when you are the most relaxed and open, just like with clairvoyance, clairaudience will come through when your mind is open to it. So you might find that moment just before you fall asleep is where you can see pictures, and it's where you might hear things. Yeah, absolutely. Like your name being called. That's quite common, to hear your name being called just at that moment. And it would be something that was quite short, not like, take these matches and go and burn the house down. That's possibly something. That's possibly something else. Yeah.
they're not going to be coming through and saying, you're going to need a notepad for this one.
No.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Claircognizance. I suppose this seems like it's similar to clairvoyance, I guess, especially with that keys example. It's just like, you just know where your keys are now because you pause for a minute and let your mind clear.
It's bonkers. So claircognizance is probably the hardest one to explain. And basically it does just mean clear knowing. So this is something that happens to me more than the other clairs. And this is... Why are you laughing?
It's just the notion of this group of clairs hanging
sitting around. Yeah.
Oh, it's always bloody claircognizance. When am I going to get
this bunch of like north, south, east, west, like these goddesses. Of
the four clairs.
The four clairs, the four corners, the four watchtowers. Exactly. Yeah. So claircognizance. So this is about clear knowing, and it's really bizarre the way a piece of information, and it's so, and I hate to use this word, but it is like you download something into your brain, like like we're all running around in the Matrix or something. And it will often come from not. It's really hard to explain, as you can tell. So I'm falling over my own words, which is great for a podcast. And for the people watching the Vodcast version, like my wrinkles and all my struggle to try to find the right words. Okay, let me start at the beginning. So claircognizance, it's like this instant hit of a piece of information that you will get. And the thing that makes it different from recalling a fact that you have learned is you don't know where this knowledge came from, but you absolutely know you are correct. You are correct. You don't know why. And when somebody would say to you, well, how do you know that? I don't know. I just know will be a phrase that just comes. And it's like, I don't know how I know. I just know. And it can be very frustrating when you're surrounded by people who don't trust that this is the right answer. This is the correct course of action, because, oh my God, with every fibre and every molecule in your body, you just know. And it's really hard, because it's not like you can say, oh, I saw an image in my head or I heard a thing, da-da-da-da-da. It's just 1 second the information is not there, and then it just is. It floods you, and it's just a hit. And it's not the same as, oh, I remember where I put that thing.
Yeah.
It feels different.
Like if you're driving and you're not sure where you're going, you haven't got your sat nav, which is, oh, it's this way.
Yeah, you just know that's the right answer. That's the right way. Yeah. And it's so hard to explain.
And it's more for that kind of thing, though, isn't it? It's not necessarily like you're doing a maths test or something.
Oh God,
if they get asked a really hard question, but I just know this is the answer.
Yeah.
It's more that kind of feeling type. This is the way. This direction is where we need to go to, or this is where the thing is, or... Yeah.
I think the last time... Well, the easiest way I can explain what happened to me is that years and years ago, one of the now teenagers had lost, like, their cuddle toy. She left it on an aeroplane, was absolutely devastated. Oh, it's gone, and it was kind of old, so you couldn't just go and buy a replacement, because the shop that did it had moved on and got these other characters now. So she'd lost it, but I always knew it wasn't gone, that it would come back. So I would tell her, oh, we'll get it back, I'm sure it'll be fine, we'll look in lost property, all of these things. Years later, I'm watching an advert for Disney World. Come to Disney World, it's great. And there was like a family, they were in bed. You can see the teenager is cuddling a Donald Duck. And all of a sudden, this information about that lost cuddle toy came through. And I knew it's on eBay. It's on eBay right now. I don't even have an account for eBay. It's not like I'm a very... active eBayer or whatever they're called. So I grabbed the laptop, my God, there it is. It is on eBay. It is. And then, long story, even longer, we went, I ordered it, and it came. And she came home from school, and he was there on the doorstep waiting. It's like, there, see, I told you he'd come back. And happy in the end.
Very good.
Yeah, but it's that. It can just be used for like all sorts of really mundane things, like find my stuff, and then the information just comes. I use it more these days for strategic planning. Not that it helps, because I'm surrounded by a bunch of very logic thinkers. So when I'm saying, I know the answer, this is the answer, I phoned the destination and I got the directions, and it's this, and they just go, you show me the numbers.
Yeah, show your work.
Show your work. And I'm like, oh God, no, I can't tell you how I know. I just know. Yeah.
That makes sense. A good example as well.
Based on real events.
Exactly. So what was the other one? The fourth Claire? Sentience.
So this is a feeling. So this is a clear feeling, and it's connected more to your emotions. Some people may recognise the word empathy or and being an empath, like from Star Trek. Deanna Troi. She was an empath.
Except when it didn't help them to have one, and then there was something in the
exactly.
way.
I've been blocked.
I can't reach you. They're using some technology.
Yeah, they've got some weird anti-empath device that they've just zapped. Yeah.
Narratively, it's important that I don't know the answer.
Yeah. But apart from that, yes. So clairsentience is another word for being an empath.
Okay, fine. All right.
Basically, so if you're a good listener, for example, if you feel called to certain type caring professions, it could be that you have this particular clair in abundance.
Yeah.
You are clairsentient.
Yeah. So I feel that this is probably the one that I do relate to more than others.
Yeah, you're big clairsentient. You.
Well, yeah, I do kind of have a knack of hearing stuff and then understanding immediately how people are going to react to this. So in the workplace, for example. Okay, but if you say that in that way, this is going to be the outcome. People are going to want to know this, and this. People are going to want blah, 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 blah. It's not just a case of, I've said this now, which is surprisingly common.
I know, right?
In certain parts of where we work. It's like, yes, but I have said this, therefore it is true, and everyone will be happy. No, not so much.
Oh,
all
look,
right.
they're
You
not.
don't need to have clairsentience to know that 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But it's just being able to understand and let's say good listener. I've got a lot of customer relations and stakeholder type management stuff in my day job. So actually having to listen to what they're saying and bring people on board and get them to buy into what we're trying to do is important. And you can't do that without empathy, without understanding how they feel, without sensing the room, if you like. So I do recognize this one probably more than the others. You've kind of gone through how they are all different, how the four clairs and their different personality quirks, regional accents, all of that sort of stuff.
One's got dark hair, one's got red hair.
But,
Sorry, I opened my water.
God, dear, oh dear.
Sorry.
So unprofessional.
Do carry on.
But they all kind of feel like, they are versions of the same sort of thing, aren't they? With regards to moments of clarity, understanding in different ways, different methods of understanding. So be it voyance or audience or whatever, it's just things coming through.
That's right. And I think to use a phrase, you are the tool.
You're the tool.
You are the tool. So in terms of divination, you're not reaching for something external to you. You are the vessel. You are getting this information. It's not, I need this box of cards or I need this pendulum.
It's all coming through.
Yeah. You're a tool.
You're a tool. All right, cool. But then there are tools.
There are tools.
There are
yes.
tools. So we talked about tarot. I don't know if you want to get into tarot too much because I think we've covered that in other episodes.
We've got loads of ones on tarot that people feel free to go back and listen to our back catalogue about the one on tarot for personal development.
Cool. And we've talked a little bit about divination, mostly to mock how pop culture reflects it. So what about scrying?
Scrying, yes. So scrying, you will generally be using a flat surface. You can absolutely use a crystal ball. It's all good stuff. So a flat surface, generally scrying using a mirror. It won't be an actual reflective mirror that you would normally use to, I know you use to put your mascara on. So it's not that. It's a almost like a sheet of glass that's dark. So like a tinted
Black.
glass. Well, it doesn't have to be black. It can be just frosted.
Okay.
It can be just a dark surface or something that you get some reflection, but that's not its primary purpose.
Right, okay, you're not there to look at yourself.
No. So you're using this external surface. You kind of clear your mind, and that sounds so woolly. I get it. It's so woolly. What I mean by clear your mind is try to find a space in your own brain where you're not planning your shopping and you're not thinking about that argument you had with that fella in that meeting that time, and I should have said this. You're kind of not doing any of that, but when you sit and you just try not to think about anything, your brain will go, oh, you're not thinking about anything.
Let's throw some things in. Do you remember that embarrassing thing
you did when
like
you
when
were
you're trying
9?
to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like, do you remember those magic eye pictures?
Yes. God,
kind of
we are showing our age now.
Clear, you're just looking at the image. You're just focusing through the image, not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
You're just looking to see the picture within it.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like that?
It is kind of like that, and you're not necessarily waiting to pull on one of the clairs that we've talked about. It could come from a sensation in your body. It could absolutely come from using like a latent clair ability that you've got, but it's the reflective surface back that what does it form a picture? Does the actual surface form a picture? Do you get a sensation in your body? Do you get a knot in your stomach? Let's explore that a little bit. And that's kind of what scrying is about.
But what are you looking for?
Whatever is the answer to your question.
Okay, so it could literally be anything.
Yeah, so the reason why people want to explore divination is because, like we said earlier, with back in the day, you are asking the divine for some hidden knowledge. Now, hidden knowledge could be, oh, what is my sole purpose? Or it could just be, where are my keys? So we have a whole range of things that we can use divination for.
All of the various gods
Exactly.
sitting there just like, oh, she's lost the keys again, it's your turn. I'm fed up of telling her where they are. They're always in her bloody pocket.
Exactly. So we use divination for answers to get that hidden knowledge, which could be literally anything, whatever you decide. It could be about your own personal growth. It could be about like a situation at work. It could be, how can I better my community? Whatever it is, you want access to the answer that you don't have immediately.
Right. Okay.
So is that, I mean, that's what you're looking for. When you're looking in the mirror for scrying, it could form in the patterns of the glass or the shadows or whatever it is, or it could literally just be a thing that you feel in your own body.
Okay. So, and it doesn't have to be a mirror, does it? You said any place. So
Yeah.
even if someone's got like an iPad that's turned off,
Yeah.
that's black.
The
and
telly that's
reflective.
turned off. Yeah.
Just staring into that. So
Exactly.
people don't have to buy special
Oh,
tools
God,
for
no.
these kind of things.
No.
All right, cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about just very quickly. I joked a little bit about how the voices in your head. It's not so, because a lot of the clairs,
Yeah.
you could confuse some of that stuff with perhaps mental health issues.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
is it worth sort of just touching on that ever so slightly?
Yeah, okay. I think so hearing voices is obviously symptomatic of certain mental health conditions. It is worth exploring that with a trained professional if you are worried about that. And I think the starting point for wanting to go and talk to a professional is, are you worried about this? Does this frighten you? Do the messages seem threatening? Do they seem scary? Do they come from a place of love and light, or does it feel like it's something more than that? And I'm not talking about devils and demons and God knows what. That's not it. It's just, if you are worried, then go and talk to your normal GP, your doctor, your healthcare professional, or your counsellor, your psychiatrist, whatever. Go and have that conversation with them, and then they can explore your worries in that safe environment. But certainly having an ability like clairaudience, if you're not afraid and it's not telling you to, I don't know, hurt people or hurt yourself, and you don't find it threatening, then maybe it's not a mental health condition. Just kind of being open. Oh, that's my water. Just being open to the spiritual possibility, as well as being very aware of the health, you know, the impact on health that it could be.
Cool.
Yeah, because, do you know, personally speaking, a lot of things happened to me when I was younger. I'm not going to get into it now because we did a paid for podcast where we explored a lot of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, your crazy story.
Yeah, God. So a lot of...
Honestly, if you haven't, it's worth listening to that.
No, I've got my head in my hands.
Oh.
It's quite revealing. We get into a lot of personal stuff. But anyway, but certainly some of the things that I have experienced in the past have made me go, am I okay? Maybe I should go and talk to somebody, but you know, I am okay. I'm not.
sorry. Pop culture's ruined me. It's
yes, go ahead.
I'm not special. My mother had me tested.
Exactly. That's the thing. I have a certificate. No, I don't. And no one. You know what it's like here in the NHS. They're so worried. So worried. So worried about litigation. Yeah, so there's no certificate, but yeah. So I've been scanned, I've had lights in my eyes and God knows what. And no, we can't find anything wrong with you, dear. Off you go.
Stop wasting our time.
Yeah. So no, I don't think the things that happen to me are because of poor mental health, but certainly it's worth
checking.
Yeah,
especially if you're concerned.
Yeah, certainly if you are worried. Yeah. Or if your loved ones are urging you. Because, you know, we all have our blind spots. We're not always aware of the things that may or may not be wrong with us. But if you've got a loved one that's saying, oh, could you please go to the doctor and talk to them about it? Then, just do it. Just do it and move on.
Cool.
So that's the mental health side. I think there's one more thing that we might want to just touch on.
Go on.
And that's using astrology for divination. So certainly I do think that astrology can be used as a form of divination to get the hidden knowledge. And it's because that phrase, divination, comes from talking to the divine, getting access to hidden things. What is the answer? I personally don't see why looking at charts, you know, astrological charts, could not be used for the same reason. And this might be connected to understanding how you and the people you work with or the people you live with or those that are in your friend group, understanding a little bit more about what makes them tick, you're getting access to that hidden knowledge. Now, nobody thinks anything of going and sending a bunch of senior leaders to get their Myers-Briggs done, do they? No one thinks about that.
I was just going to say, it sounds like insights, profiling and stuff like that. You are this type of person.
Yeah.
You are this type of person. Therefore, I must speak to you in this kind of way and I will interact with you best by doing the following things.
But no one calls that divination. It is, kind of. Isn't it? Aren't you divining for making sure that you can navigate the world of work slightly easier? You've got a bit more of an edge because you've got somebody's bloody colour wheel or whatever it is. Wouldn't it be great if senior leaders would go and get their natal charts done so that we could see their Mars happens to be in this house when they were born and that's why they're a complete arsehole. I mean, it's just the same as looking at somebody's Myers-Briggs and going, oh yeah, they're red. Yeah, that's why.
That's why you're a dick in these situations.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now.
I mean, it's going to be like, yeah, well, of course they're like that. And I just think not enough companies are doing this.
You're really pushing this kind of corporate magic.
Yeah, corporate magic.
Corporate magic.
Get on with it. Come on. I would love to be in the room at any point when I put my hand up and say, I know what we haven't done before. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And then all the white middle-aged men all turn and look at me and go, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Yay, workforce.
And on that cheery note.
So learning divination, it absolutely can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't believe that it's reserved for a specific type of person or only from this long lineage of other mystical beings that you happen to be born in. No, I think you can absolutely learn how to commune with the divine. You can absolutely learn divination. We all have the clairs in us. They're all crawling to get out, this little hand that might come through your...
Now you're being gross. You're a tool.
So, yeah, we all have these clairs within us. We can all access like a dark surface, a reflective surface, frosted glass, whatever, just to
learn and
just to
practice.
Quiet it, and that is the thing. It is a practice. So you can't just go, oh, well, I've done it now and it didn't work. Nah, soz. You have to kind of get better at it. So, yeah.
But we said as well, it's like these things probably already happen to a degree because all of us have the clairs. It's just recognising it, and learning to trust it and following your gut, following your instincts.
Yeah, and that is a great point. So these phrases get thrown around all the time, even by the senior leaders that I have mocked a lot today at work. They will say things like, "Oh, I feel it in my gut," or it's an instinct. I mean, okay, but you're leaning into your clair.
One of your clairs is trying to come out.
Exactly. So you might feel something, you might know something, you might get a flash in your mind's eye, you might get a little noise in your ear or in your head. Lean into it, develop that, because it is all there. It's in all of us, all the time.
The clairs are in us.
Claire Brown, Claire Jones, Claire Smith. Yeah.
Sounds like a tagline to a movie. The clairs are in you.
Yes. Did you have any more questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I will. That's your homework. You go and
hang out with some clairs.
Hang out with some clairs. Yes, you'll like that. All right, that's it. That's our show. So that's it. That's our show. If you liked it, give us a rating and review, share with others, tell your friends. You'll find all our contact stuff over at magentaschoolofmagic.com, including our social media and links to the Magic School itself.